How's it going, everyone? Today I'm going to show you how to fix a surfboard. This one here, made by Feral Dave. Nice little board this one, it's a little bit fishy. As you can see, just here I've done a little bit of damage to the nose. I dropped it on the rocks. So we're going to have to seal that up and get that fixed. So what you're going to need, some sandpaper. This one I've got here is a 120 grit. It's quite rough, that's what we need. We've got to scratch it all up here so the resin will stick. Screwdriver, fiberglass resin, got your hardener, there's some Q-cell there, a mixing cup, stick, some masking tape, and optional beer. Always makes the process a little bit better. So first of all, what we want to scratch this up. You've got to get it all, rough it up. You want to get it up the nose here, a little bit here, underneath. Actually get it a bit under there, there, both sides. Bit on the sides there. Pretty easy job this one, just about anyone could do it. So that's it, scratch it up. Okay, second part of the process, you got to mask it out. You don't want resin getting all over the board, so you mask out the areas that you don't want the resin to go on. Get it on top like that. Underneath. You can always put a little bit extra on. It's always easier to pull the tape off with the resin than to have to sand it off. So I always tend to put a little bit extra on. Okay. Make sure also that you press up and you seal up all those gaps in the masking tape, because the resin will run in there. Okay. So that's just the masking out. Next thing you want to do, you want to shape the nose. Now you can see with the finishing of the masking tape, that's basically about it. You just want to maybe peel it down a little bit so a little bit of the bottom's exposed, because you do want a little bit of resin to run in underneath, because that will help with the bonding process. Okay. Now what you might notice is that the nose kicks up like this. If you pour the resin in there, chances are it's just going to run back over the top a little bit. So what we need to do, we need to get that nose down a bit. And a simple, easy way of doing that is just by chocking something up underneath the back of the board. MacGyver it really. I just used a bucket and a brick. That seemed to do the job. Alright, and the nose here now, it's sitting a lot nicer. So when we pour that resin in there, it should just all sit in that bit of tape just there. You might see I just put on another little bit of tape there, just to increase the length coming out with the tape, just to make sure that that resin is not going to drop all over the joint. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're going to mix up our resin. I'll show you how to do that right now. Okay, so what we're going to have to do now, we're going to have to open the lid of this resin. It's only a small job, so we don't need a lot. I'm just going to pour a little bit into my cup. Now with the hardener, it's always best to mix it into the lid first, just in case you don't really want. If you put too much in there, the stuff goes off hard, and it goes off quicker, and it's not strong. So you've got to make sure that you only put a few drops in. put about 5 drops in there. The mixing instructions are always on the label here. Okay, now with this stuff, Q-cell. This powder here makes the resin go white. So we put in a little bit of that and we just mix it up. Usually have to mix this stuff for a couple of minutes. It takes a while to get all the lumps out of it. And as you can see, that's about the colour that you'll get. You might think it's going to go white and you'll keep on pouring all this Q-cell in, but that's the colour that you generally want. Once it's that colour and the resin goes off, it'll be white. So all I'm doing now, I'm just going to get this, just drip it in there like that. So notice I'm pushing down on the tape a bit. I want to try and get a little bit of resin underneath that tape. So you can always put a little bit extra in. It's always better to sand a little bit extra off than have to add more in later. So there you go. That's it with the resin in. And now all we've got to do is just wait for that to go off, and then we can sand it back. Well, I can tap it now. You can see it's, I don't know if you can hear that, still a bit tacky, so you can see that there's still a little bit of flex. So it's probably not a good time to pull it apart yet. So you might pull the resin off the board. So we're going to leave it for a little bit longer. Rightio. Well, it's a little bit harder now. It's always good to get it when it's a little bit soft. I don't know, I do it sometimes. It just saves sanding forever when it's rock hard. But if you're nice and gentle, you can get the general shape that you want, and then just give it another bit of a break and then sand it a little bit more later. So I'm going to peel the tape off now. Just going to do it nice and gently. This one off. Bottom one off. Pull that one off. Okay. So as you can see, that's what you're left with. Don't worry. Don't look real flash at the moment, but she will. Now I'm just going to sand it back. It's going to be nice and gentle if it's a little bit soft. You go a little bit harder if it's harder. But while it's soft, you just want to be nice and gentle, just to get it to that general shape that you want it. As you see, I'm using the same paper. It's just the 120. Okay. As you can see, we've got that general shape now. You just want to try and follow the same contour of the rail. Got some P600 wet and dry. I'm going to use this to finish it off. Just make sure it's nice and wet. Lots of water. And this will get it beautiful and smooth. You know, you just take your time, unless you're in a rush. At the moment it's Easter Friday for me, so I'm still drinking my, I'm on my third beer now. And I haven't got much on, so I'm just taking my time. I'm trying to do a good job. And it's getting there. Just make sure you keep the water up. You don't want a real sharp nose. You know, you got to think if you're going to cop that nose in the head in a wipeout, obviously don't want it like the tip of an arrow. It's going to do some damage. Just round it off. So when you're finished, this is what it should look like. Nice and smooth. You just make sure that you finish it off with some 600 wet and dry with a bit of water, and rub out all those little lips, and there you have it. Good as new.